On the left here I have Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 line of sight rules. And I thought it'd be interesting to make a 3D version of MapTools that use the same line of sight rules that D&D does. And I just kind of hacked something together here to get an idea of how it might work. So on the right here, I've roughly reproduced the diagram in the rules compendium. And as you can see, this token can see the orc and it can't see the gnoll. Same thing here. I'll leave it up to you to go through the whole line of sight rules. But basically you can see where I've done all the line of sight. And the yellow lines represent where I have good line of sight, and the red shows where it blocks. And I've actually made this in 3D, but my intent was for a top-down, so I've kind of locked the camera into a top-down. Now, as I increase the wall height, well, let me move around here a little bit, you'll see that it does calculate the line of sight dynamically as I move around. Every time I move, it updates the line of sight. Even if I can go in here, it blocks line of sight just like you'd expect it to. So it works pretty well. So far it's been accurate, although I have a lot of checks. I would need to optimize this pretty heavily if I wanted to use it in a real game. But I'm going to raise the wall height and you'll see that some problems start showing. So now we've gone from a wall height of 1 to a wall height of 7. So far not a big deal. I can't see the gnoll, so no big deal. I can still see the orc. And I can still see the orc. But keep track of this square here. As I go around the corner, even though I have line of sight to it, if there was a token there, you would never be able to see it, because the wall is high enough that it actually blocks the entire contents of that square. And that has to do with the way the line of sight works. Basically, if I can see just a sliver of the square in D&D 3.5 rules, I can see the entire contents of the square. Not quite realistic, but makes it simple for the game. One way that I might be able to resolve that would be to do transparency on the wall if there's a token behind it. I'm not so sure I want to do that. Now here I've just made the map a little bigger, so the problem becomes more pronounced. Like here, I can see this square, but if there's a token there, I'd never be able to see it. The performance starts dropping down quite a bit too, as you can tell here. It takes a few seconds to redraw everything. I'm basically doing a flood fill and then doing 4 times 4 calculations per square. I'm sure there's a much better way to do line of sight calculations. I just did something quick so I can see if I like the end results, and I'm not so sure I do. I think the MapTools 2D format is a much cleaner solution. I've looked at some games that do the same type of top-down view, and they don't allow you to zoom out very far. They're usually very constrained in close like this. And when you do that, the fact that something's hiding on the wall isn't a big deal. Also, the D&D 3.5 line of sight rules are constraining in this particular format because the rules say you can see around the corner, but visually you actually may not be able to. Doing a first-person view kind of spoils the top-down relationship as well. I do like the effect, though, of how you can see the walls in this top-down view, and it's much better than what MapTools offers. Perhaps you could do a limited top-down view where you only show maybe the first 2 or 3 sections of wall, or the 20 feet up. Interesting, but I don't think I'm going to pursue this unless I can find something else that makes me believe this would be a good solution.